Hey everybody, Jay Glazer bringing you another episode of Guidance by Glazer. Thank you for joining us. We are actually in a different location, probably didn't even notice, but we're in one of our exclusives, 40 East 78th Street, apartment 14D. We have a broker's open starting here in a little bit, and we figured why not shoot our video in this property. We'll give you a link in the comment section where you can see the property, you can see what we're selling, and of course, if you're a buyer out there, if you're a broker, whoever, if you want to come see it, give us a holler and we'll happily get you in. And then just jump into this. Today's topic is it's a secret, because it's the secret of 2018's best neighborhoods. And now, why did I want to share this with you? Because every year and pretty much throughout the year, I get asked, what's the best place to invest? Where should I invest my money? Or what's the neighborhood on the verge? What do you look for? What's kind of the indicator of a neighborhood that's going to increase in value? Because everybody wants their home to be worth more after they go to sell than when they purchased it, right? That makes sense. Everybody wants that. So I think there are some neighborhoods that always offer opportunities depending on time of year and what's happening in the marketplace, what's happening specifically in those neighborhoods that could really help you achieve great return on investment just by nature of being in those neighborhoods. So I'm going to drop those 3 secrets on you. And for those of you who get our newsletter, you'll know this is just a continuation of our newsletter. Thought it was a really good topic. Wanted to bring it to you live as well. If you are not receiving our newsletter but want to, email us at glazerteam@corcoran.com. That's glazerteam@corcoran.com. Or drop your email in the comments section below, or phone number, whatever you want, and we'll be sure to send it to you every month. I write it myself. It is completely custom. There's no generic nonsense about restaurant openings because nobody cares. We're not in the restaurant industry. It is about the real estate market and how I can bring value to you, my database out there, people watching, people who believe that they want some good information from me on the real estate market. So going straight into it. My 3 secret neighborhoods. Please, again, this is a secret. Don't tell anybody. First neighborhood that I think 2018 is going to show will be a tremendous year for is Chinatown. Now, everybody thinks Chinatown, and the first thing they think of is going down Canal Street and getting hustled by some panhandler who wants to sell you a fake Rolex, a Folex, or a fake Gucci bag. Fucci. I myself am the proud owner of many Fucci bags. Just kidding, I don't have any Fucci, or Gucci for that matter. But in reality, Chinatown is actually a fairly substantial neighborhood, and the part of Chinatown that I'm speaking about is really East Chinatown, or east of Bowery. So there's a little section between, call it Grand Street and Bayard Street to the south, and Bowery to the west, and then the East River to the east, that I think has really a lot of potential. And why do I think 2018 is going to be a great year? Because the retail in that neighborhood is completely changing. You've gone from very kind of classic New York City locksmiths, blacksmiths, whatever it is, I feel like I saw like a Radio Shack there a couple years ago. That kind of sort of okay retail, not really interesting to walk by, has now changed into galleries, really interesting clothing stores, amazing restaurants and bars. When you see trendy young chefs who really can't afford that Union Square location because the restaurant spaces are so big and the rents are so damn high, the rent is too damn high, then that's usually a good indication that there's a marketplace, because the young affluent folk who want to go to these trendy restaurants will go to the neighborhood that those restaurants exist in, and Chinatown is becoming that spot. So I really think Chinatown has a lot of opportunity. Also, there's a couple real estate things that will make the real estate even better, and those factors are, for starters, there's not a lot of inventory, so there's a natural supply limitation, which always helps because the desire is always strong and the desire builds and limitation of supply exists. There's going to be a very, very healthy demand. But then on the flip side, there are a few anchoring projects being built right now, new construction projects that are going to be very expensive, that are setting a new pricing paradigm for the neighborhood, and because of the urban density those new buildings are bringing, you will see a increased uptick in retail. It's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I think that, for me, is what makes Chinatown such an interesting neighborhood. It also happens to be in Manhattan, and people still want to live in Manhattan despite the explosions of Brooklyn and Queens, and now I'm hearing a lot about the South Bronx, although I personally don't know much about it. Although if you want to invest there, I will become very learned very quickly. So Chinatown is still very close by in the city. It's still a quintessential downtown neighborhood, and at the same time, it's right off the F train. So I like the fact that it still has a convenience factor. So for me, Chinatown is neighborhood numero uno on the hit parade of secret neighborhoods that 2018 is going to be very healthy for. The second neighborhood is really a neighborhood within a neighborhood, and that's South Park Slope, aka South Slope. Now, for those who know my dirty little secret, I used to be a resident of North Slope, Park Slope, and I liked it very much, although the commute did start to wear on me, so I moved back to Manhattan. Happy to share that story on another day. But having said that, South Slope, I think, is a neighborhood on the verge for a number of reasons. For starters, Park Slope is just gone bananas. When I moved there, I thought I was paying top dollar for my home, and then we were able to sell our home for a fairly healthy return, or I should say very healthy return. I shouldn't be so modest. Modesty, overrated. We saw the neighborhood continue to explode. But the reality is, it's another big neighborhood, and the southern part of the neighborhood still felt like it was kind of lagging behind the rest of the neighborhood. But again, it is accessible. There are good restaurants. I love the fact that South Park Slope is still a beautiful neighborhood. I think what makes Park Slope and South Brooklyn in general such an attractive place to live for families, for couples, for anybody really, is the aesthetics. They're really nice neighborhoods to spend time in. And Park Slope in particular, it's close to Prospect Park. That's really nice. So all of the things Park Slope has been known for, it's not lacking in South Slope. It just hasn't been fully as developed yet. And the other part of South Slope that's so interesting from my eyes is that there are different zoning rules in South Slope. So there's a lot of developers, small developers, doing somewhere between 4 to 10 unit boutique condominiums. So for anybody who doesn't want to go through the co-op process, or someone who wants that flexibility of a condo, or maybe someone just wants something new but in an old neighborhood, which is always a nice combination, South Slope is now offering more and more of that. I see a new building come to market, I would say once every 2 or 3 weeks, and that's a really great opportunity for a buyer who really is focused on condos, and someone who might even just, as I said, want something like a shiny new toy. And also the prices are still healthy relative to, say, the rest of Park Slope, so I think there's a lot of opportunity. I think South Slope will fill in to the price points of the rest of Park Slope, and ultimately it will become a very anchored neighborhood, even though it already is. It just continue to get better. So that's neighborhood number 2 for me. Probably wouldn't have many people guessing South Park Slope, but again, my analysis is a little bit different. Hopefully you agree with me. If you do live in South Park Slope or Park Slope in general, and you have some comments about what life is like, are you getting solicited by a lot of agents? If you have any friends that you've been to their homes and they're wondering about the value of their home, or just want to talk with us about what life is like, we are always trying to educate ourselves. So I would love to learn more about what life is like in South Park Slope. As I said, I lived in North Slope, but it was like this north-south battle. It was like the Jets and the Sharks over here. That seemed really awkward, whatever. So the reality is, we are interested in learning more. So please, again, drop us a comment, give us a call, shoot us an email, text, tweet, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, I think that's all of them. Vine, just kidding, that doesn't exist anymore. So that's Park Slope. Third neighborhood, again, kind of an oldie but a goodie, and I'm going to tell you why. The Upper East Side. Not the Upper East Side, the Upper East Side. So I'm really focused on the neighborhood of the Upper East Side, east of 2nd Avenue. Long been overlooked as a value-driven neighborhood, a place where you get the best deals, a place where kind of you end up falling into if you can't live anywhere else because it's too expensive, or you just feel like it's sort of your second choice. Now I know there's probably a lot of people who say it was my first choice to begin with, and the Upper East Side is a great neighborhood. I myself always get into fights with people because I tell them I'd rather live on the Upper East Side than the Upper West Side. I don't know, I just like it there more. So the reality is, though, that the Upper East Side, especially east of 2nd Avenue, has really always been a value-driven area. But what has changed, and this is an obvious statement, but an important one nevertheless, is the 2nd Avenue subway line. We have recently listed a number of homes in a building on 85th Street between 1st and York, and we're actually listing another one there soon. If you want some information, give us a shout. We'll give you a little preview, sneak peek of that one. We're staging it right now. It's going to look beautiful. It's going to be well priced, probably sell very quickly. So get your buyers, get yourself in there, drop us a line. But what we're seeing is that the first-time home buyers of the one bedrooms and the studios in that neighborhood, it's a completely different animal now. Like you can get off the queue and walk 1 block and you're home. That was always the big knock of the far Upper East Side. You had to schlep across town to the 6 train, and if anybody rides the 456, it is a god-awful train, guaranteed delays 24/7. And listen, the queue, despite its historically bad running service, is now so much better because they have new fresh tracks and they're operating more trains. So the queue has gone from like worst in class to almost best in class, and infrastructure in a major city like this is critically important to the quality of life. So if you have good infrastructure, I think the value of your home is going to rise because good infrastructure yields more people who want to move into the neighborhood, better retail, again, self-fulfilling prophecy, more people who are going to move into these buildings. Retailers are going to say there's opportunity, there's more urban density, we need to upgrade the quality of the retail, and ultimately you're going to just create a better neighborhood that's going to rise in value. I also think there was such a depressed value on 2nd Avenue because anybody who walked 2nd Avenue between 96th Street and 63rd Street between the years of, say, I can't remember, it was like 2011 to 2016, it was a war zone. There were cranes, other things, bulldozers. I'm so technical. There were so many apparatuses just lining the streets. There were street coverings. There was drilling. They had this alarm go off every day. It was kind of scary. I mean, it was like a bomb alarm. They were bombing the underground subway to create the space. I mean, you're living above bombing. It's kind of nuts. So what happened is all of the retail in that corridor just died. And we were talking like dead plant, like wilting, dying, totally disappearing. And now retailers are moving back to the neighborhood. So you really had depressed cap value, and now it's getting this influx of better restaurant operators, better retail, and of course, I think the apartment values are going to go up because of that. So again, Upper East Side, not a new neighborhood, not necessarily a surprise for anybody, but I really think, given our recent experience selling in that neighborhood, that part of town, I really think there's a lot of opportunity there. So if you are considering that neighborhood, give us a call. We actually are doing quite a decent amount of business there. And also, I'd love to hear from you if you are in the neighborhood about what life is like. Did you live through the 2nd Avenue subway construction? What was that like? We're really interested in hearing from you. And we'd love to speak to your friends or family or relatives and just gather their thoughts as well. I'm in constant data collection mode and always looking to have great conversations with great people. As many of you know, I am real estate obsessed, so never a conversation I will not have when it comes to real estate. Thank you for joining us again here at 40 East 78th Street. That is Guidance by Glazer. Look for us next week for another juicy update. Got to think of a hot topic for you. We actually already have it. It's going to be an interview. That's right, 2 of us on camera. Oh, mind blown. And we're going to talk about how to best optimize your marketing and sales approach through StreetEasy and Zillow, because we now have a StreetEasy and Zillow expert on our team, and she's going to drop some knowledge bombs. So for you brokers out there, tune in next week. For my buyers and sellers out there, if you want to learn the strategies of how to best navigate StreetEasy as a buyer or the best strategies to navigate StreetEasy as a seller, then do not miss next week. See you next time. Thanks so much.